Good afternoon, I think it is now. Oh my goodness, it's almost 2 o'clock. Good afternoon, everyone. I just wanted to bring up some discussion surrounding the idea that we all reach a point where we realize that we need to decompress, rejuvenate, reset, or there's something that just feels overwhelming that's going on, and I guess how we fix that, or how we take action on that, I guess. I realize that I struggle a lot with decompressing or resetting or taking a break, and I always have, actually, and it's only until recently that I started noticing patterns of behaviour that I have that give me indications of when I need to, take a break, take a breather or whatever. Often relaxing or taking some time out or whatever is often a negative experience for me, because it feels like a punishment to an extent, or it feels like I've failed in some regard. So, and as a result, also I feel like I'm being unproductive, or I'm being forced to stop, and I don't like stopping. I'm always on the go. It's very hard to sit still. In fact, it's very interesting because I'm actually on a wait list at the moment to go get assessed for ADHD and potentially autism as well. So because I've noticed a lot of these symptoms are quite ongoing and have been for most of my life, but that's another topic for another day, I guess, or another update whenever that comes along. But it was funny because yesterday, I think it was, I was getting really frustrated and almost pissed off at little things, and I shared that with a very close friend, and they checked in with me, and we had a bit of a phone call, and I just kind of started venting all the little things that day that had pissed me off. And as I started, dumping it all, I started realizing some other roots of that, anger or frustration was the feeling of being overwhelmed. As I'm going to try not to cry on camera right now, but basically there's a lot of things that have happened for me over the last year, or even over the last 4 months, given all the COVID restrictions and mandates and stuff. Like, a friend of mine over the last year booked her flight twice to come to Perth, and it got cancelled, and I'm sure every one of you has been impacted by so many different factors surrounding COVID, whether it be the mandates, the restrictions, not being able to see family, your job's being impacted, whatever the case may be. And that's, I guess, another whole different discussion. But it just there's been a few things over the last week that have occurred that have actually been quite positive for me, and it's very hard for me to accept or acknowledge the positive things that have happened for me.
I didn't understand that.
My Siri is registering my voice. A few things that have been positive have occurred, and it's my life is kind of pursuing quite a positive path, and I'm not in a negative space as much as I have been or whatever. And there are things that are still challenging at the moment. There are certain things that I'm still trying to navigate that have been difficult to navigate and are still difficult to navigate. But when I look at the big picture, there is a lot that is positive that's happening, you know. Like I've had a business for a year now, you know. That's such a big deal, you know. Like I saw my first accountant, bookkeeper, and we're looking at my financial situation, and despite it being so messy and, you know, my profit not being that great, the amount of income that I have received as a result of purely my business has been absolutely incredible. Like I did not expect you know, the amount of money that would come in. Like I didn't until you see the statistics or the numbers, or until you see, you know, proof, it's very hard to register. And I think even now I'm still struggling to register that, you know, I have been self-employed for the last year, you know, or I have made friends and family around me. I have got a community of support around me. I have so many resources I can access to support me. And it's just, you know, and certain things that are happening in our world today, you know, are progressing in a positive trajectory in certain regards. And it's big, you know, it's very big. And I think it's really hard to acknowledge those kind of things that happen. And they don't have to be big. They can be a build-up of little tiny things that then become quite overwhelming. So I'm still learning how to healthily digest or decompress or accept or acknowledge the things or factors that are happening to me in my environment, and having close friends around me to support me and observe how I'm, you know, growing and developing, and them acknowledging those things as well with me definitely helps, you know, definitely prompts me to keep moving and keep heading in that direction. So I'm not really sure what point I have about today, but that was kind of on my mind. Also, something completely separate, or maybe it's part of it, but I think it was yesterday morning as well, or the day before, I'd found out about the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial, and the result of that, you know, was an interesting observation, or source of income, basically. Source of information. And, you know, watching these big things take place around us is incredible, you know. And yeah, so what's been going on in your life? What's been going on in, you know, your day to day? How have you ended this week? This week for me has been generally pretty weird. It's felt like a very odd week. Like I genuinely thought the 1st of June was Monday, so I acted or played out this week as if the 1st of June was Monday for some reason. But yeah, you know, big things are happening, little things are happening, and sometimes it gets quite overwhelming, and I don't realize it because I'm always non-stop. I'm always moving forward. I'm always non-stop. And sometimes it's hard to acknowledge that and stop and think without basically forcing yourself to, or at least being more aware of yourself and your symptoms. So what are your symptoms of overwhelmment? What are your symptoms of needing a break, of burnout, of any of that stuff? My biggest symptom that I've started to notice is getting annoyed at things, getting pissed off at things, and things that you really shouldn't, or really shouldn't get pissed off about, because there's nothing, they're out of my control, you know. So yeah, I'm not sure what else I can say right now. I'm still digesting and decompressing and processing the things that are happening around me. So even now, like, I can't fully acknowledge it even to you guys, you know, what exactly is going on in my life. And maybe eventually I will be able to openly acknowledge that, but right now, I guess I just wanted to share my observations or thoughts, a bit more about me, and tick off that day 3 of the challenge. But yeah, I'd like to hear more from you guys, you know, what's been going on for you guys. And what else do you want to know from me? What else do you want to hear from me? What do you want to hear about? You know, what is it that you want to know or you want to learn? And I appreciate you paying attention to my videos, watching my videos, you know, responding to them, acknowledging them. I really do appreciate that. You know, hopefully someone out there is impacted in a positive way by what I share somehow, or just in general. Like, there's no actual deliberate purpose, you know, for these videos except for me to just, you know, share who I am, be more present on social media to the extent that, you know, I'm able to engage in society, and learn from society. And yeah, my brain's a little bit fried right now, so I am going to probably jump off now. So I appreciate you listening. I hope you've had a good week, and what have you got planned for the weekend? What are you doing this weekend? Do weekends matter to you, or are they the same as the rest of the week? You know, what is your favorite day of the week? How do you relax? How do you spend your time? Tell me more about you if you can. Be really appreciative of that. So thank you. Have a wonderful day, and I look forward to chatting to you another time, either today or tomorrow. Yeah, have a lovely day, and looking forward to hearing from you. Bye.